we are ready to start the final part of our nice analysis of the Nimzo-Indian. We will now deal with some rare lines, which occasionally they become fashionable and then they disappear again. So here we go. However, in order to have a complete knowledge of the Nimzo-Indian, it's good to have a good idea to know very well what to do about it. And also, studying one line, even if it's not a very popular one, it helps us with the overall understanding of the opening. So, bishop b4. Now we will study the move bishop g5. Haven't we just studied that in the previous lecture? No, not really. There it was with knight f3. Now it is without knight f3. So knight f3, we take it, we play d6, and this bishop g5 is a different story. So here we are talking about this line, bishop g5. This used to be quite fashionable many, many years ago at the times of Soviet Union. But gradually it has fallen out of fashion, and today's computers don't have a very high opinion about it. So now we are going to see a very good way for black to play against this system. However, as we notified already from the previous lecture, whenever I see the move bishop g5 in the Nimzo-Indian, it can also be played at all levels without much theory, without any theory. Yes, with logical moves by our mind. So here I suggest the move h6. This move is very good, and the move c5 is very good. These two moves, h6 first and then c5, as you will see, or c5 immediately, they will transpose to each other. However, a totally playable move, let's say after h6 here, I suggest c5 because this is the main line and objectively the best move. However, a totally playable move, if you want to get out of book and play a good, very high level game, you can just take here. And now let's decide, please, between the move d6 and the move b6. What do you think? Should we play this move d6 or this move b6? What do you think? Because we have explained that we can get out of book. So, of course, the correct move is d6. This would have been very wrong here. Why? Because white can follow this setup with f3. White will not play this naive move, knight f3, to transpose to all this stuff with g5. Yes, white will play this, and our bishop here will be blocked. So, in fact, this rare way of playing, just takes, and d6 is playable and acceptable. It's not the best. The best is to follow the theory, but still it is playable and acceptable. Very good. Now let's see the best moves. hc6, bishop h4, and we play c5. He has to play this move d5. If he plays this move a3, then all the time we have such ideas, and with the knight coming to e4, and we have some initiative like this, knight e4. So that's why after c5, the common move is d5. And here we play d6 or take here. Look, please, there are two ways to play this position now after we have entered the theory. One is with an open center, and the other one is with a closed center. When I was younger, I used to play the line with a closed center. But later, I switched to this one, which is possibly, it is offering us more chances to fight for the advantage. Anyway, I don't believe that you will face this variation so often. However, maybe it is worth it to study the best moves theoretically instead of just playing a logical game, because we have chances to even get an advantage. So the move that we will study is this one. It takes d5. Instead, thousands of times, this move has been played. d6, white usually goes e3, and now we take on c3 and we play e5. Is this a Hübner variation? No, not really. It is very different. For example, the knight is not on f3, and the biggest difference is that in the Hübner, this bishop is here behind the pawn chain. Now this is out here. So this position, however, we do have some things in common with the Hübner variation, mainly the closed nature of the position, the double pawns on c3, and here this is playable. Let me give you like an approximate variation, for example, something like this, and we may try to castle play like this and castle long with interesting play, and we can also castle short. Okay, let's check now this move. E takes d5, c takes d5, and d6. In some sense, this position resembles a little bit the line with f3, but a good version for black, for us, and a bad version for white, because his bishop does not belong there to h4. So by far the most common move is this e3. Let's examine this move for a while. This is, as I said, a bad version of the Zemis Nimzo-Indian we will castle. He will play e4. And guess what is our move now, please? What do you think? Very good. Our move would be rook e8, already threatening to take on e4. Very good. For example, he plays knight g2, but what is his problem now? He cannot move this knight again. We simply developed with knight bd7, and in order to move if he moves the knight, we take on e4. In order to move the knight, he must first move the bishop. Yes, this is one of the very rare occasions where we take, because here we are much better by force. This is almost winning for black. Queen here or knight g6. According to the computer, this is really almost winning for black. Okay, we do not expect to be so lucky, to be honest. Yes, after d6, the move f3 and e4 is really very bad. So he must play e3. Now, we castle, but for somebody who likes more adventures, a playable move is even this one. I have included this move as well. g5. It's very interesting, playable, and of course, a little bit risky. He goes here. By the way, I like this intermediate move, after which king e7, black is winning. Look, here we are threatening to take on c3, and he happily plays this, and we win the bishop. Okay, so g5, let's see this fast, just a second. g5 and h5 with good play. For example, here we have this very strong move with attacking possibilities. And here we have h4 here, and we just develop, and we are better knight bd7. So it is difficult for white to even get an equal game in this bishop g5 line. If he plays like very, very strictly the first choices by the computer, he may get a fine game. So takes d6, e3, two ways to play. One is this with g5 and h5. It is working 100%. And the other one is to castle short. Generally, we are standing very well. Our plan, it depends actually on how he will develop his pieces. For example, he goes here. We can play several moves here. a6 is good. Bishop f5 is good. Bishop g4 is good. All these moves are very good, and this clearly shows when in one position during the opening we have 5 very good options. This clearly shows that our position is very good and something is wrong with white's position. So all these moves, rook e8 is playable, knight bd7 is playable, bishop f5, bishop g4, a6, all these moves are very good. I have included them all, but of course, you don't really have to memorize something. Just follow the plans. By the way, we can win a pawn here like this, but I don't really like it. All the time here in this variation, white has some annoying compensation. Personally, I don't like it. It is playable, yes, but personally, I don't like to win this pawn like that. Okay, if you like, take it. So bishop d3, I prefer to play, for example, such moves and win it this way. Okay, knight f3. Let's examine another move. Bishop f5. It is working 100%. We just want to develop the pieces and play chess. For example, bishop d3. We take it, we play here, we play queen e7. We can play also other moves as well. For example, here we put our pieces in the center. I believe that this is more than enough here. So the game will soon, very soon, no matter if you're if you are a grandmaster or an international master or an amateur player, the game will very soon be out of play, so out of theory. So bishop f5 is good, and another very good effort is this, bishop g4. It is working again 100%. For example, here, knight bd7. According to the computer, after this, we happily take it, and now black is even better. Here we have a very healthy position, and the move queen a5 is coming. He needs to lose more time. Yes, queen a5. He will lose a pawn, as it seems, without much compensation. The position is problematic for white. You will choose one of these lines and play it. Finally, there is also a6. Yes, pretty much you cannot make a mistake here. Whatever you play, it's theory. For example, a4, and now once again bishop f5 or bishop g4. Let's say bishop here. He plays this, we take it, we develop our pieces, and we have a fine game. Very good. Let's go back from the beginning, please. Bishop g5, way too many options. h6, c5, d5. We take it, we play d6, e3, and we castle. Very good. Also very good is g5. So another try by white, because he had enough, after knight f3, he had enough of bishop f5 or bishop g4. Another try by white is to start with this move. This is possibly like more accurate. He plays bishop d3, and he will play this move later. So we play knight bd7, and he goes here. Anyway, we have a very good game, and now I would like to play this move. For example, bishop c2, and look, what is our plan? Our plan is this wonderful move. This is all you need to know about this line, knight g6. So we go back and we say, we reach this position by force, completely by force. And if he plays this, we can play bishop f5 or bishop g4. If he plays this, our plan is knight e5 and knight g6. Let's see it in action. For example, he goes here, knight g6. And he goes here. What if he takes it? We will see. If he takes it, we are standing perfectly. We will take here, and soon we will play g5 and knight h5. We are standing really very well. That's why these lines have been abandoned. Or let's say instead of taking, he goes here. So who can find the move here, please? Pretty much any move will do, but I see one move which is better than others. Very good. Knight h5 is the move here. According to my analysis, queen e7 is also very good, but we don't really need to know all these things. Even I, who have done the analysis, I don't remember all these things. Just a general idea, because this position is rare. It's anyway good. We have several playable options, and we just go and play. So he castles. For example, I found a nice idea after this. Look, surprisingly, we take it. What is the difference now? The difference here is this is a very useful motive, for example, a very useful thing to take home, as they say. Because white has this pawn structure with h takes g3, white can practically never play this move because our knight on g4 will be powerful. So the e5 square is almost like a strong square. White needs to castle short. He doesn't have any realistic hopes of castling long and attacking on the h file. So he should castle like this, and we develop our pieces. Remember, for those players who don't have a lot of experience, they tend not to play this move. They consider the bishop here and the bishop here to be the same. No. Develop your pieces. Bishop d7. Our rooks communicate. Possibly at some moment we want to play d5, and the bishop on d7 has influence also on this diagonal. So here black has a very good game. I continue analyzing, grandmasters do that, to gain more ideas with the help of the computer. I know it's almost zero possibility to ever get this in a game, and I waited 37 years, I never got it. So, and even if you get it, you won't remember everything. You don't have to. The idea is to gain experience, to see what is happening. For example, here intending queen g4, g5, queen h5, and such moves with very good play. Let us now check some games in this line. So here we go. First, it's the game between two super players of the past, Jan Timman and Miguel Najdorf. In this game, Jan Timman has a rating of 2550 and Miguel Najdorf a rating of 2510. The difference is that this game was played in 1976, many years ago. So the rating is extremely high. Bishop g5, which is not fashionable anymore. We play h6, he goes here. We play c5, he has to push d5. Black started with d6, we can even take it. Here, takes, and now as we remember, g5 is very good, and after bishop g3, h5, or just castle. Black played here, white played here, in order to limit our choices. So knight bd7, knight here, and knight e5. White played an interesting move here. He didn't play this, after which we played knight g6. He played short castling. This is indeed interesting. He doesn't lose a tempo with bishop c2, and he considers the move knight takes d3 not to be a real threat. Let's see how black continued. He played here, according to my analysis, a perfectly playable move is this one, bishop d7 here. We simply have a great game. So knight g6 was played nevertheless, and white played here. If he takes on g6, we take it, and for example, f3, we play g5, and here, black to play and gain an advantage. Who will find it? Who will find it? Now to play knight h5, I don't really like it because our knight is not going anywhere from h5. So I see two good moves. One good move is, of course, this one to develop the pieces, but there is an even better one. The move is g4. This move, because he cannot play f4, he will weaken the squares, yes? After this, the position is horrible. We may play a move like this one, for example, and we are better. So here, yes, queen e8. Okay. And black was better. Let's see how they played. After knight e5, castles, knight g6. Timman with the white pieces played bishop g3, and Najdorf played knight h5. this is not at all obligatory. Moves like rook e8 or bishop d7 or queen e7 are entirely not bishop d7, we are losing this pawn. Queen e7 intending bishop d7 or rook e8. So this is also very good. Knight h5. Let's see what happened. Queen c2 and f5. He's not even in a hurry to take the bishop. So f4 was played, and he never took the bishop. He played bishop d7 here and knight e7. Yes, there is also one game with this move, for example, threatening c4. Yes, for example, here knight e7. In all cases, black has a good game. Let's check this game, mostly for purposes of watching two super strong players playing chess and follow their thoughts. So e4, he played e4. White knows that he doesn't have a very good position, and black cleverly took on c3. This is a very good move because white cannot now take with the knight because f4 is dropping. He took with a b pawn and takes on e4. Let's check. And knight f6. Why didn't he take on f4? Obviously, some calculation, some compensation. Yes, if he takes here, I suppose this will happen. Takes, and bishop g3. And here, yes, white seems to have the initiative. So let's see. Okay, this is a more or less equal position, and later, after this blunder, black was better and he managed to win the game. Let's check one or two more games. This is the game by a very young Hans Niemann. It was played in 2016, so his rating was only 2330. This is a bleach game, by the way. So h6 and d6. Sooner or later, we will get to this position. In a few words, the plan is knight bd7, knight e5, knight g6. Here, knight e5. He castles. No, we don't want to take the bishop on d3. We want to play this move. And here, knight h5. So if they ask, why would white enter this position? Hoping, first of all, that black doesn't know any theory, and also experimenting from time to time. Yes, find some clever playable idea and experimenting, because when you try such unknown openings, you gain experience. That's the reason. So here, but we already know that this is playable and interesting. And if he takes with the knight, who remembers, please, what to do here? We take on g3, let me help, and we play knight e5. And this is the situation where his f4 move appears to be difficult to achieve. Okay. Let's see. So he took here, and he played f5. Before, this is like totally unclear situation with chances for both sides. And in the end, black managed to win, although white, to me, white seems to be better here, maybe, if he can defend against the checkmate. Very good. So we check one or two more games to have a very clear picture of what is happening in this rare but playable line. This is a standard game between Cyrilla Christian, a grandmaster with a rating of 2520, and Darwin Young, a player with a rating of close to 2500. Let's check d6. So here knight bd7, and here knight e5, and castles. It seems that bishop c2 is a waste of time. g5. Wow, this looks like an adventure. And queen e7. Black has a weak king, but in return, he has active play a3, and he went here. And rook b1 was played in this game, and bishop c7. This would have been a better move. Bishop here, b4, takes, and bishop b6 with a nice unclear game. So this is what is happening. There is like nothing completely standard here, and we reach this position. We put our pieces in good places. We reach this position and we play. I repeat that for whoever wants to play a more risky game, he can just take it and play d6 and play g5. I have included this line as well. Very good. I think this is enough for the bishop g5 variation. And now, let's see something else, please. Some very interesting and clever choice. So here, the move a3. So let's say a few things about this move. We take here and he takes. Now, there are this move objectively is not so good for white, but he has good practical chances and reasonable success. So this is a very risky coffee house line. White creates some weaknesses very early in the game. He has the pair of bishops and he's trying to attack no matter what. Now, there are several playable options for black, and the problem is always what to choose. So here I made a very clever choice, which in many cases, by a very clever way, by a very clever path, we will reach the line with e3 and bishop d3. So here we castle. Look, please. Another playable move, as you will see, is this. We can also start with this move. Now, if he goes here, we already know this position. It's the line where we castle. He plays bishop d3. Who remembers what do we play here, please? We transpose to this line, no matter what. We play here. And now, our next move, which is it going to be? The answer is, I don't know. I need to wait and see white's reaction. If he goes here, we play d6 and e5. If he goes here, we play b6. And if he plays a waiting move like this one, in my opinion, the best move is this. Is the line with a3 called Zemish? Well, it's not clear because after a3, quite often, let me give you the answer. Quite often it transposes. White will play now f3. Yes, quite often it transposes to exactly the same position. So after playing bc3, look what we will do, please. We can start with c5. Our goal is to reach something which is, as you will see, very similar to the line with e3, bishop d3, which we already know, c5 or castle. Now look what happens. We castle, and first of all, if white plays e3, then we play c5, we are in known territory. Secondly, white will most likely not play e3, but he will play f3. His ambition is to play e4. And now look, I have some very good games with this move, knight h5. I beat, for example, Ludwig Hammer, a very good grandmaster from Norway, with this line. You can check the game. However, I made a very clever choice here. The move is knight e8. Without knowing much, I first played this move recently in 1992 in the Balkaniad, Youth Balkaniad with national teams. I was playing for the Greek national team. This is a tournament that has stopped existing several years ago. We were playing in Romania. So look what is happening after this move, knight e8. After this move, so the bottom line is, after bishop b4 and a3, we will transpose to some known line, as we will see. So look, he plays e4, and look what happens now. Let's get here by a different move order. Look what happens. We reach this position, and he plays e4. Now look, we play c5, and soon we will reach one position where we have one tempo down, but strangely enough, this tempo doesn't play any role. It is against white in reality, and that's why the best he can do is transpose to the one line which we already know. Look, he can play here bishop d3. This is the move that we will face the most. Or bishop e3. Look, bishop d3. Now look, we play knight c6. He goes here. We play b6. In our repertory, we have this position. We managed to trick him. In our repertory, imagine he played e4 and we play knight e8. Now white has an extra tempo. His pawn is here. However, this is deceiving. His pawn has absolutely nothing to offer him here. And the best he can do is, after castling and let's say here, to play which move, please? Who remembers? The best he can do is to forget about his extra tempo and play f4 to transpose. This is the line that we already know since yesterday. So for us, this line will transpose to this line. In other words, here, here, and now bishop d3, c5, and we will transpose to this line. Yes, here it is. Knight c6, knight e2, b6, e4, knight e8. White has his pawn here. It makes absolutely no difference. He needs to play f4. So this is how we will do it. Let us now try and check some games here. Some years ago, when I discovered this, I thought I was very clever, but then I checked the games, and to my amazement, to my surprise, I realized that there were other clever players as well, maybe even more clever. So this is a rapid game between two superstars, Aryun Erigaisi with the white pieces and Yu Yangyi with the black pieces. So bishop b4 and f3. So here, c5, look, knight e8. Let me remind you which is our move order. We are talking about this line. So takes, we castle, he goes f3, we go here, he plays this, we go here, and we will transpose by a strange move order to this line here and bishop a6. Yes? So let's see what they did. They started with this. Our move is c5 here anyway. So look, they reached this position all of a sudden. Bishop d3 and knight c6. White played knight e2. Even if white plays such moves, we are not really worried. We will play b6. He takes here, bishop a6. He cannot survive too long. He will lose this pawn. I mean, we still have a great position. So this is what we are going to do. This f3 and later a3, or a3 and later f3, is a little bit confusing, but if you spend a little bit of time, you will see that everything will be clarified very easily. So in fact, what we are doing here is very clever. We take two variations and transpose into one, which supposedly we will know very well. So here, indeed, Erigaisi played this move, b6, castles, bishop a6, and white realized that his extra tempo with f3 doesn't count for anything, and he played f4. Now we are going back to yesterday's analysis. However, we will check this game. Who remembers what black plays here, please? Very good. We play f5. Very good. And this was the choice of Yu Yangyi, of course. So takes, knight here, g6, because the bishop cannot get out. And queen f3 may be a dubious novelty. Black consolidates his position, and he is better. This time he took, and he took again, and he played d5. Black has a very good game. And later he won this rapid game. He has a nice advantage here. Save. Okay. Let us check this game now between Deryabin with the white pieces 23-30 and with the black pieces Grandmaster Elianov with a rating of 26-70. So look what happened. A3 takes it, and now our move order is short castle f3 98. Yes, and we transpose. He played this, and now if e3 we transpose to the line with e3 and f3, and if f3 we will transpose, in fact, in the same variation. Look, he castles e4, and he plays 98. The best move is bishop d3. Look, everybody's playing this move, bishop d3. Can't they play such moves? Yes, they can, but as you will see in the analysis, we have very good play here. I believe we play knight c6 or b6, and we have very, very good play. Like here, he cannot just take these pawns. He will soon lose his own pawn. So we are doing very well. You will see in the analysis. So bishop d3, knight c6, and again, they entered this position, bishop a6. And they usually play f4. For example, if this, black will play knight d6. Instead, white played here e5. When we see this move e5, he played this, but usually we play either f5 or maybe even d6. He plays this. This also makes sense here, and he played d6. I believe that this move is also playable. Bishop takes c4. So they played like this. And this is a more or less equal position. In the end, black managed to win. We check a couple of more games in this line. So here we go. A3, we take it, we castle, and he goes f3. Does he have other alternatives here? Yes. He can play e3. We transpose to the same line, c5 and knight c6. He can play knight f3. Of course. What to play here, please? We are out of book. What to play here? Who will suggest? Of course, we will play d6. And now, what to play after e3 and after g3? What to play, please, after e3 and after g3? You will see that we already know. Yes, you see, we understand. We play these positions with plans, so we don't really need them. If he plays here, we play c5, and this is a very good version of the Hibner. We have an extra tempo because in the Hibner we take on c3 by ourselves. Here he played a3. And finally, so here we play this, knight c6 and e5, yes? And finally, after this, what to play after this? We checked it previously. We play b6. And this is a very good version for black because white has even played a random move a3 here. So here we play this, and possibly we will put the bishop here. We are standing very, very well, at least equal. So a3, in fact, we will transpose it to some already known variation. f3, don't forget to play the right move here, which is knight e8. And after e4, Grandmaster Soichko played c5, and usually they play bishop d3. Here, white played knight h3. Now black is thinking, and he played the most logical move, which is knight to c6 and d5. Now, we said when we play knight a5, we play knight a5 when we know it is theory. Here, we half know that it is theory. This is in these positions, the knight goes to a5 indeed. And we play knight a5 if we see that we can almost by force capture this pawn on c4. Yes, indeed, in this position, we will play knight a5. I see knight a5, for example, bishop d3, b6, and bishop a6. And if he goes queen e2, we also have this move to add pressure. So yes, I feel that this knight has to go to a5. And this is what Grandmaster Sotko did. Did he know concrete theory here? No, zero chance. So e5 was played. And what to play here, please? Let's see. We are out of book. This is for sure. What do you think? I am almost certain that we must play d6. However, one of the players suggested this move because there is queen h4 check. Yes, this is a very clever move, in fact. Oh, but can he play this? We can play here. This is a clever move, knight takes c4. The most simple move, however, is this, d6. This is the most simple move. Yes, we counterattack in the center. He takes here. Of course, we take with the bishop. And we are standing very well. Knight g5. Now, what to play, please? Can we take bishop takes c4? Can we do this? No, we cannot. If we take on c4, he will exchange on c4 and play queen d3, threatening checkmate. Yes, we cannot play here. Here he's threatening checkmate and the knight. So he played bishop f5. Nobody knows exactly who is better here. Is it white or is it black? I have the feeling that black is better, but you can never be sure during the game. Practically, this is an unclear game. I believe, though, objectively, black must be better. So here, he's threatening checkmate, so g6. And what did he do? He saw this. I see. Takes and knight takes a1. Very good. He saw this line. He calculated very well that he can escape with his knight, as it seems that his knight is not going to be lost. And indeed, he captured the other knight in return. It seems to be very, very interesting. Let's check now another game after that, please. Let's check this game between Grandmaster Lodici, Lorenzo, and Grandmaster Albert David. I have played several times with this very, very good player, Albert David, like 3 or 4 times, and all the games were draws. Here, c4 is 6, knight c3, bishop b4. Grandmaster Albert David is particularly good in endgames. So I suggest a good way to study endgames, by the way, is to study the endgames of well-known endgame experts, not just Smyslov, Karpov, and Kramnik, also more modern experts, yes? So they don't have to be world champions. This is one of these players. f3. Our move here is c5, I repeat. This is our move. So we do not transpose. However, this is also possible. And here we transpose the moves. The systems f3 and a3 are connected with each other. The systems f3 and a3. And if both players want it, they can transpose to each other. Yes? Let me repeat the system with a3 here, and that's why there was this confusion. Which one is called the Zemis system? They can transpose. So the system with a3 and later f3 can transpose to the system with f3 and later a3. But in order for this to happen, both players must want it. We don't want it with black. After f3, we play c5. This doesn't transpose. This is an autonomous system. But after a3, this transposes to the line with e3 and bishop d3 for us. Okay, so here, if you can, this sounds a bit strange. I believe it's quite clear. If it sounds a bit strange, you just need to spend time, a little bit of time on it. Or, very simple, you recognize positions. We recognize this position. We have seen it for sure. And we play knight e8. He must play e4. Can white play something else here? Well, nothing much really makes sense. Yes, theoretically, he can play such a move. For example, knight h3 if he wants. Yes, or he can play a4, for example. Yes, these moves are playable. The way I see it, after a4, I would have played this move to stop e4, for example, here. And now we will have a fine position out of book e3, and we just go and play chess. This is very common in grandmaster practice. Very, very common. More common than you may think. So we get here a playable position with chances for both sides. We know that I don't know during the game, I don't know specific theory, but I know very well that my opponent also doesn't know. So this is a nice, interesting fight. Very good. So how much percent can a very good player be covered in chess in the openings? I would say at most 80%. The player who has studied the most in modern times, I don't know who it is, maybe Anish Giri, for example, he is covering the openings at most by 80%. Yes, an average grandmaster is covered at around 60 to 65%. Yes, these are the numbers. There is no player who knows everything. Such a thing is mathematically impossible, and I repeat, a waste of time. It won't bring the result. So e4 and c5, and here white played dc5. I am sure that quite soon they were out of book. Queen a5, threatening various pawns. Here, black decided not to take on c3, and he played this move. Let's check. Queen d4. Now black knows that white may keep his extra pawn, but he will have compensation. Let's think for a while. I don't remember what black played here, honestly. Let's think for a while. What do you think black should play here? I don't remember the move, but I'm almost certain what I would have played here with the black pieces. Who would suggest a good move for black? We see that we cannot take the pawn back. Yes, we were expecting that. But we can do something else. In my view, the best move is b6 here. Oh, I'm missing this tactic. Yes. So this move also appears to be good. Look, here he will take it. He cannot capture a second time because we take on c3. So he plays here. And now we acquired this nice square with very good compensation. We are threatening knight b3, and we have good compensation here. Very good. Instead, he took here. And he played b6. Yes, of course, knight takes c3 is possibly even better. h4. White is looking for desperate measures. Strategically, he is much worse. If he plays quiet moves, I won't lose time picking up such pawns. We need to develop our pieces. We will play d6 and e5. If we manage to develop our pieces just like that, then we will start gathering all the weaknesses, for example, here, and it's about time to start thinking about this move, or maybe even queen a6. What matters for black is to stabilize his position, and later the pawns were anyway going to be very weak. So that's why white resorts to these desperate measures, h4 and trying to attack. Black played here. To be honest, I don't like this move at all. I would have played this To me, this looks a much better move, and I'm surprised why he didn't play it. And then next move is e5. He played here. This looks very slow. h5 here and h6. e5, white cannot take on e5 because knight d3 check, he's losing his queen. So here and g6. And what is happening now? Bishop takes c4. It seems that he's doing well, but here a draw was agreed. I don't know why. Black is still a pawn up. Anyway, a draw was agreed here. Save. Okay, so we check one more game. So here we are. f3. If we both want, f3 and a3 will become the same opening. After f3, we play c5. We do not transpose. But here, it transposed. We take it, and knight e8 is our move here, and later c5. He played first c5, and now knight e8. Yes. And again, we transpose. So bishop e3 and b6. Look, again, this pawn sacrifice with compensation. White doesn't even take it. And black goes here, knight c6, little by little. This line with e3 and bishop d3, which we learned yesterday, starts taking shape. Yes, we play bishop a6, then the knight will come to c6. We know this is how we do it. So knight c6, knight f3, by now they are out of book. Knight a5, they are definitely out of book. And white played here. Of course, we are not naive. White starts threatening to sacrifice on h7, and we need to take measures. You see, this pawn on e5 has cut off our communication, the communication of our pieces with our king. What to play here, please, with black? I have absolutely no doubt that this is the correct move. It's not good, for example, to start collecting pawns like this. Very good. So the best move, in my view, is f5. You are right. And this is what this grandmaster chose with the black pieces. I should not collect this c4 pawn, which is anyway very weak. So f5, queen e2. If he takes it, we are very happy to develop our knight here and safely protect this pawn. And he takes here, for example, we capture this, and black is clearly better. Please note that in the game of chess, the f pawn for white should go together with the e pawn. So when white has a pawn on f4, he should have a pawn on e4 or on e5. Here, the pawn has disappeared. White would have been much better off with this pawn here now. We feel it. Yes, this pawn has nothing to do on f4 all by itself. This should be here now. Yes, nice and easy, offering more squares to the white bishop on e3. But unfortunately, it's on f4, and black is better. Let's see how they played. Queen e2 and d5. This looks very, very nice. Here, and they exchanged everything, and knight c7, very well played by black. And now he has a so-called classical advantage. It means it has been played in similar fashion countless times. Here, he played rook c8, and yes, some attacks here. And this is indeed completely winning for black. Here, and knight here, every move is winning completely, and he took it. Very educative game to see how we attack in these positions. And now, enough with this line with a3. So we saw bishop g5 and a3. There is another move that needs to be studied. So after here, the move G3, this is the so-called also Kasparov variation, because Kasparov has used this move several times in his matches with Karpov, against Karpov. So back then, I remember I was very annoyed with this move because only knew the move C5 here, which had a lot of theory. C5, white would continue with knight f3. It had a lot of theory, and it was very drawish. If white wanted, it was impossible to lose. However, since those days, theory has developed a lot, and so after G3, we have now very good ways to play without theory. So this G3, and later white will play here, or maybe even knight f3. This is possible to transpose to the line with knight f3 and later G3. Yes, it is possible to transpose to this line where we play d6, or we take here, look, and d6, and now he plays g3, and now we play b6. Very good. So let's see what happened. He goes g3. Let's see what to do. We castle or take on c3. It's exactly the same. Look, please, here. We take on c3 or play knight c6. Our move order, let's clarify, will be this. We take it, we play d6. Now, unfortunately, we cannot transpose, like he will not play here to play d6. He will play here. And look, what is our plan? We castle. We put the knight here, and because here it is better, I have deeply analyzed this move in the past, but this is better. And he castles and e5. This is a very successful position for black, and this is what we want to reach. So let's go back. In the g3 variation, we take on c3 immediately. Also in the knight f3 variation, we take on c3, we castle, we play d6, knight c6, and e5. This is the plan. So here I had this move first, but it doesn't really matter. It's the same. And knight c6 first, it doesn't really matter. And now we take it. So he takes it, and d6. Here I have it under this move order. It doesn't matter. So castles, we take, and we reach this position. This is our goal. We have this position in our mind in the g3 Nimzo-Indian, and we want to reach it and play e5. This is very successful for black, a very successful position, and we have very nice play. He can play several moves. For example, rook b1. Generally, we would like to continue with light square strategy, of course. However, I have the feeling that, yes, this is interesting. Yes, he goes here. Who will suggest the right move for black here in this slightly different version of the light square strategy, please? Who will suggest the right move for black here? Let's see which one is the right move for black according to what we have said. I'm giving you 1 minute to decide, and I'll be right back. So, very good. I see two possible moves. Indeed, one is knight a5, but I would prefer this move h6 in order to stop bishop g5. Can we play here? Yes, we can, but maybe he can just play this now and then take here and take on e4. That's why let's play this thing first, and then we will perform this light square strategy. You see, our knowledge is very useful. That's why I made sure right from the start to show you this very well-known strategy. Let's have a good idea of what is happening. Generally, if they would tell us, play again, our move is either going to be e4 or h6. So if rook b1, I would rather play e4 or maybe even h6 immediately. For example, he goes here. We can play e4, but we can even allow him to take on e5. Remember, previously, the position was like this, and the knight maybe or bishop of c3. So d takes e5 would make a lot of sense for white. That's why we were very much in a hurry to push e4. However, here, if he takes on e5, then the two c pawns will be isolated. So we still have a nice position. And as it seems, we are not very much in a hurry to play e4. The way I see it, the way I see it, though, I would have played maybe e4. Let's suppose he plays here. Look, now I cannot play e4. After e4, he has knight d2, right? We cannot play here because he's threatening the pawn 3 times already. So we will play rook e8, and finally he plays such a move. Enough is enough. We will play this move, and bishop here I cannot play yet. I will play b6 to stabilize, or maybe even this move. For example, here, and now either b6 or c5. White is worse, b6. White is worse in both sides of the board. Yes, how did he manage? So let's go back. Again, this is a very successful position. What do we do after g3? We have many move orders, but generally we take on c3, we castle d6 and knight c6. There you are. Just take it. I play d6. Here I castle and knight c6. If he plays, look, here, who will suggest now the two options that we have with black? Here we have, according to what we have seen so far, we have two options. Which are these two options, please? Two options, not just one. And who will suggest the two options? Who will suggest the two options that we have seen? One is b6, and the other one is to castle and play which? Now we cannot play b6 anymore. Play which move now? Knight c6 and e5. Very good. So this is how we need to connect things in our mind. The line with knight f3 with the knight with g3 are connected. So very good. Let us go now and check some games in these lines. So let's check this game between Grandmaster Xu Xianggu with a rating of 2580 and Lequan Liem, very famous Grandmaster and rapid and bleach expert, with a rating of 2694. This game was played in 2019 and it is a bleach game. So here, bishop here, g3 and knight f3. These two variations are connected and it is possible that they will transpose to each other. a3 here may transpose to the line with e3 and later a3. Yes, so there are some transpositions, we have them in our mind. g3. Here, he castled. I repeat, there are several move orders. Bishop g2, he took here, he played d6, and we cannot play b6 now to transpose to this line. He will have some threats. So knight c6 is the move. He castles and e4. This is already, also by the computer standards, a very successful position for black. He goes here. The player with the white pieces is a grandmaster. He wouldn't play this move. How to continue here, please? After e3. I would say not just e4, but completely e4 this time. Yes, he goes here. And now either rook e8 or bishop f5. Let's say this move, rook e8. He goes here. And yes, I can also play queen e7, but I can also play bishop f5, because if f3, as always, we take on f3. And this is a very good version of the light square strategy. Very good. By the way, let's suppose he plays here. I can play b6. I can even play such a move. And he plays here. So how to continue with the black pieces here, please? Yes, we do have a fine game. How to continue? What do you think? Let's see your opinion. I am almost certain that we must play this move. And this resembles very much a light square strategy. This, for example, is misplaced. Our plan is to do this. And of course, look, please, if here, this is good. Look, I am telling to white, if you want, my dear friend, you can open up your bishop from f3 by taking on b6, but this will also open our rook. So here, if I am to move my knight, let's say he plays a random move like this one. Look, will I play knight d8 or knight e7? If I am to move this knight from c6, will I play knight e7 or knight d8? Knight d8 or knight e7? Very good. I will play knight d8 because I am targeting these squares, the weak squares. I won't play knight e7 and here to target these two well squares. You see, these are principles of the light square strategy. And finally, what if white plays c4? And of course you will play c4, trying to do something. Now we will either take it and play knight d5, for example, and then we will continue in the style of the light square strategy, plus possibly with this move. He goes here, yes, I can play b6. I can even play here for a while, yes. Defending for one move or two, it's not a bad thing to do. Then I will play bishop to h3, and we have an attack. Please make sure to understand that we are not like winning here. Yes, it's not winning immediately or something. It's still a game. After this, by the way, there is another move that I see now. This. I'm not sure if it makes sense. It needs to be investigated. Here, it does make some sense. It does make some sense. Again, black is better. And in fact, a very interesting idea, the way I see it, is this one. Look, I will happily sacrifice an exchange. Look, here. Yes, I can also play this move, but look at this move, c6. I will happily sacrifice an exchange because I see this wonderful square for the knight. The bishop will go here or here. And additionally, the principles of chess strategy say that for the player who has sacrificed an exchange, it is very good to have opposite color bishop. So here we are much better with the black pieces. If I put a light square bishop, then things are different. So additionally, a problem for white is that this bishop is not active at all. What is a problem for black? There are two open files already, the B file and especially the E file, and we don't like that. We would rather have the position a bit more closed. Okay. So these are some thoughts about the game. Let's see about this game, this type of position. Let's suppose he takes here. It's really nothing. We are playing for the advantage. We can take it and play rook e8. Please pay attention. We haven't yet stabilized the position. Yes, the two double pawns are one factor, but not the only one in the game. Yes, so we need to stabilize. I may play this, but I need to be very careful about such a move. Bishop takes c6 in some way. So this, maybe I also need to calculate this move. This move also makes a lot of sense because I'm threatening this pawn on c4 and I'm forcing him maybe to go back with his pieces. So all these need to be calculated. In the game, white played this, which to me appears as a surprisingly bad move. Bishop d7 here, and he played h6 to stop these bishop g5 stories. Rook d1 and rook e8. I think it was even better. We already have the right to play for a light square strategy here with a nice advantage for black. Let me continue for a couple of more moves. I play rook e8. He goes here to safely put a knight on e3. I would like this time to exchange this knight. Look, yes, this knight is strong on e3. I would like to exchange it, to play here. For example, rook b1, I will play b6, or maybe just take it and b6. Such moves are also interesting, but b6, on the next move, maybe I will play c5. He goes c5 himself, and now d5, a good form of light square strategy once again. White has not played. A good thing about white is that he has not played e3. If he had his pawn here, then his dark square bishop would have been completely dead, and his light square would have been a lot weaker. And then he could even resign. Yes. So we should not have like so high expectations. It's enough that we have some advantage, which we will build even further. Okay, this is how to think. Now c5, now I have no doubt. Finally, we need to play e4 and d5, very good. And white wants to put this knight on e3, and in my view, we must try to exchange it. He played b6. The idea of b6 is to go knight a5. This also makes a lot of sense. Here, knight a5, and now his plan is not to exchange this knight here. His plan is to exchange it here without blundering d5, here, and the other knight will go to c4. This is another very typical idea. Rook b1, look, he played bishop e6. What is the meaning of this move, bishop e6? This is exactly what I would have played. What is the meaning of this move? The meaning of this move is to prevent c4, but even more, to play here, exchange this knight and put the knight on c4 and win. But if we play here, d5 is hanging. So he is protecting d5, and now he wants to go here. Queen a4. Of course, he played knight g4. And black did this. White did this. Imagine like such a position is completely lost. We take here. We put this knight here on c4, and this is like really resignable. We can play here to attack on h3, maybe c6, threatening b5. White is much worse. White is lost in both sides of the board. Yes, this is the trump of the light square strategy, and this is something that is a lot more important to understand, no matter your chess strength, a lot more important than the theory. Theory is also important, but plans are a lot more. So let's see how they played. here, bishop d7, let's see. Finally, the knight went to c4, and yes, white is attacking. Some moves left and right, black is attacking. Okay, and later he managed to win the game, this tremendous Blitz expert. Let's check now another game, the game between a player with 2100 rating and with the black pieces, it's Grandmaster Supi, I believe from Brazil. So bishop here, g3, he castles, we can take on c3 immediately. Here, now we can play either d6 or knight c6 or bishop takes c3, check. All these moves will anyway be played. He took on c3. And now he will either play d6 or knight c6. He played d6. Knight f3. With this move order, we don't have enough time to play b6, bishop b7. But even if we had enough time, we are not forced to do it. This line is very good. Castles. Let me tell you that here, there is also this quite interesting move here. And after e5, he plays this. And the theory continues. So I have devoted some time to analyze this position already a long time ago, and I will present you with this analysis. Yes, so queen d3 is another playable and good option for white, and a better move maybe than castling short. But we are still doing fine. Here in e5, black already has a great game. Takes, rook b1. By the way, what is happening here? We take with the rook, and he will double our pawns as well, but these double pawns don't matter so much. These double pawns, they don't matter because they are very easy for us to protect them. And he goes here. Now, our plan is to either win this pawn, which doesn't look easy, or to exchange it. If I exchange it and he takes it and I take with the A pawn, or even with the C pawn, then again, white has several weaknesses. Very good. Can this position be playable for black if C pawns are not double? But you mean like this, for example? If I put this position, white is slightly better. Yes, here. White has a nice little advantage. So rook b1, rook b8. Let's see. Knight here. I like these moves. Bishop f5 with developing with tempo and provoking e4. Here, and he played e4. And knight e5. Black is simply better. Some calculations here. Now it might be about equal. No, it's not equal. So some calculation, and black won. Let's check another game. This one. So between Potapov and Debashis, white has a rating of 2400 and black 2530. So g3, we take immediately. But castling short or knight c6 or d6, it will lead to the same position here, and d6, and knight c6, and e5. Let's see how they played. d5. This move does not appear to be good at all. Now, again, we are facing this dilemma. If somebody is lazy, he just plays knight e7 and that's it. If you are lazy, just play knight e7. However, the move knight a5 needs to be considered now, because I see that after knight a5, knight d2, b6 intending bishop a6, white's bishop is not with e4 and bishop e2 or bishop d3, where he would permanently protect the pawn on c4. So in fact, the pawn on c4 is quite vulnerable. So it does make sense to play knight a5. By the way, there is another huge difference. One difference, that here knight a5 is a good move. One difference compared to the usual positions is that after b6, I repeat, the bishop is not, imagine this position, the bishop is not here or here. This is one difference. So c4 is weak after b6 and bishop a6. And there is another huge difference here in black's favor. Black has not played the move c5. His pawn is not on c5, his pawn is here. And this is very good for black in principle for two reasons. First of all, black may make use sooner or later of c5 square for one of his knights, while if I put the pawn here, this is not possible. And additionally, if we run out of play and run out of targets, we can break with c6. The pawn is not on c5. We can, and we will definitely break with c6 without blundering pawns, of course. We will definitely play this and open up the position, yes? So generally, we prefer very much to have our pawn on c7 in these blocked positions rather than on c5. So rook e1 was played. Black tried this move. Yes, and now white has trouble defending the pawn. He played queen f4, but we are already familiar with the answer. But with the pawn here, the answer would have been queen e8 with an instant win. But here, white can use the square b4 for his queen. Black is better. There is no doubt about that. How should black continue here, please? A nice positional exercise. How should black continue? But don't give me one move, please. At least like a continuation of at least two moves. Yes? How should we continue? 97, but after 97, I guess white will play bishop a3. He will not allow us to go to c5. And again, we can go to c5 and take with a d pawn. Again, we are fine. So look at this very nice idea. Black played queen e8. He knows very well what white is going to play. White is going to play queen b4. Otherwise, he will lose his pawn on c4. And after this, how did black continue, please? A very nice idea, which we always had in our minds. Who will suggest the right move? Let's see. Some of the players has already found the correct move. In my view, and with the computer switched off, of course, the correct move is e4. This is very important, and we gain space, and we start something like a light square strategy. e4 before white goes e4 himself. So e4, e3, a horrible move to make. Normally, white would like to play this move, but here this move will cost at least one pawn. Here everything is dropping. So he cannot do that, and he played e3, which is really very bad. Queen e5, a good light square strategy. And after this, black, look how black continued here. After this move, bishop f1, our peasants make no sense on the queen side anymore. The c4 pawn is simply never going to drop. So look what he did. He played this wonderful move, bishop c8. He changes target now. He wants to bring the bishop somewhere here and continue in the style of light square strategy. White played f4. He couldn't handle this passive position. If he goes here, I would definitely play this. And after this, to go to c6, I don't believe this is so scary. We can go, for example, queen h5. Yes. And if he goes here, let's say bishop here. So once again, white's bishop on c1 is very problematic, and this is the result of the light square strategy. this bishop has been isolated and out of play. So f4, he takes it, he plays here. White is full of weaknesses. I would definitely have played here bishop h3, and this is what he did. The bishop on f1 is the only person that protects all the weaknesses. White tries to keep it, and here, so many weaknesses left and right. Knight e5, yes, bishop g4. And for a long time now, black had this move in his mind. Look at this nice move. He takes it, we take with this knight, and look, if he takes here, possibly there is knight f3 check. Yes, there is. Check, here, check, here, and here. Very simple, and black is winning immediately. It's a great feeling when you have played a good positional game to finish it with a nice combination. So here, takes it, and queen b2, and he takes on d4, of course, and the knight is coming to f3. And black won the game. Very good. Now, listen, please. Another thing that could be discussed is the various lines with bishop d2. For example, white can play bishop d2 here. Or let's say he plays e3, we castle, and bishop d2. Now, I will mention these lines in the notes, but here, this bishop d2, the main purpose is to just get out of book. So no matter what you play here, for example, a logical move is d5, another logical move is b6. No matter what you play, you get a playable position, yes? So these bishop d2 moves, they exist like in 4 or 5 different versions. And that's why we don't really need to pay any special attention to them. So I believe I created a very clever repertory, mostly based on understanding. There is, of course, some concrete knowledge. There is no chess without any concrete knowledge. And this will give us realistic chances to play for the advantage without the need to study very much. Even if you are a grandmaster, you still have to learn many things by using these repertories because they are made out of several years of knowledge and of practice, and they are preferred by me over various other repertories which have different characteristics like a lot of theory. So here is a question. Knight f3, c4, e6. Well, this is a little bit irrelevant with our study, but here the best move is d5. We just play d5, and we learn one line either in the Catalan. If white goes here, we choose one line with black, or if white goes here, there are several possibilities. This is interesting, and this is interesting. Yes, this is a nice way. Yes, the light square strategy that we apply here with the black pieces, with the white pieces, we use the dark square strategy in the Rossolimo, as one of the players correctly points out. Yes, and the ideas are very common, very common. So I had a game, listen please, where white played this move. On purpose, I will allow you to have the pleasure to find a move by yourself here. It is much more useful. Yes, much more useful. This is a playable move. It doesn't threaten anything. So if I ask which are the normal moves, there is nothing to cover here. We develop our pieces and play chess. Yes. For example, we can play c5. We can play d6. Yes, very natural. And then knight c6 and play chess. Yes. We can play b6, or we can even take here, or we can castle and postpone the decision for the next move, yes, like here. So when our opponent plays such moves that are completely offbeat, it is important that you don't study it, you don't analyze it, and you don't learn it by somebody else. You have to figure it out by yourself. This is the way to learn. Otherwise, we will start in the end asking, and what to do here? Oh, what if he plays this? How about here? What to do here after knight h3? We develop our pieces in the center and play a good game of chess. And if we follow the simple principal moves, then the drawbacks of these moves, like for example of bishop f4, will be revealed by itself. Yes, the drawback is, what is it going to be? White is losing? No. We will have a comfortable equality, or maybe even be slightly better. The way I see it, I would have either taken md6 or just d6 here. Very good. I would like to thank you all for participating. I believe I clarified many things about concrete theory and about, even more importantly, about the plans and the ideas of the Nimzo-Indian. And when we are done with the analysis, you will receive even further information in the PGNs.